Cloud9, almost at CLG, Cloud9 would be starting on the C2 side. However, Stewie2K has disconnected.
Naturally.
Never lucky.
Why make this easy? Yeah, we were just talking, you know, Game of Thrones comes out in 3 hours. It would be really, really beneficial.
That's why we're playing the matches earlier today.
It'd be so nice if these guys could just not delay the day.
It is a
drop out of the server.
caster mandate. We need to be able to
it's going to start being, in my
starts.
contract that on Sundays I cannot cast past a certain time. But another pause.
It's a good season for TV shows. Game of Thrones and Silicon Valley.
I actually have not watched Silicon Valley.
That's a good show.
I hear good things about it.
It's a very good show.
I've yet to get into it. I feel like I have so many TV shows that I still need to catch up on from like the past month that I'm so scared to start anything new. It's tough life. But yeah, so one thing we should mention as well, we brought up, you know, Davey unlurking for the Splyce side, brought up, you know, Skadoodle and Shroud. One player who had great impact for the Splyce team recently when we watched was Jason R, who is you know, not really putting together full dominant matches, but there are stretches where he can like take over the game for like a 3 or 4 round period, and it really, you know, it happened early on in the halves against CLG, and it really let Splyce get out to big leads and really kind of secured them for the rest of the match. So he is a player who has been playing very, very well from what we've seen recently. But this is still going to be a tough ask. There's a lot of talent on this Cloud9 team, and with Irakanji playing, he's also calling. That frees up nothing. So, I mean, Shroud, nothing, Skadoodle. Some of the 3 of the biggest names in North American Counter-Strike, 3 of the best players we've had over the recent years. And then Stewie, his development, as long as it continues, he's going to be a very talented player as well.
So Splyce going to get themselves started now, pushing over to the mid connector, but Skadoodle tried to go up against that. Not going to work out very well, though. He's already down to 9 HP, has to pull away, but the good news is he spotted the push coming towards this site. No confirmation that they're actually going to follow through with it now that most of Splyce's players have been found out, but they are trying to make some noise over towards that B site, and now they just go for the entry. Abe jumping around the corner, takes down Irakanji. Skadoodle trying to respond, but whiffing all those shots. Abe picks up 2 kills inside. Nothing finally responding with 1 for the CT side. That seems so far to be about it, and that looks like it's going to be it for Cloud9 in this round. Splyce in a 4-on-1 scenario with nothing as the last man alive. They're going to be taking the pistol round. Yeah, the raid boss buy onto Abe works perfectly. Nothing. What can he do here? He's going to find Jason R, but he's getting flanked out. So here's those shots. He comes back for the fight. Arya cleans it out, but a good pistol round from Splyce. Kind of what we've come to know from them as a team is just, especially on pistol rounds, just very grouped up, very aggressive and fast-paced, just getting into the round and trying to hunt down kills as soon as possible. Moving forward, you expect Davey. He's on the YOLO play with that Mac-10, just going to essentially never walk this round. Just go search for things, see what kind of information he can find. His PC's also going to be there. That's also another interesting thing, because the last time we saw Splyce was Shazam playing for Professor Chaos. Yeah. And he is over in Romania. He just did the 1v1 HTC challenge with PGL. So obviously not back in town for this match. I do think, though, that once they do get him back, he'll probably be a more permanent staple for this team. However, without him, they've been possibly a more permanent staple anyway. That's just rumor at this point. It's actually pretty interesting. He did tweet out today, Shazam did, that he was planning on meeting up with Splyce to go to Gfinity, but he's not going to be able to for health reasons or some kind of something along those lines. So a little bit interesting that they brought him up for Gfinity and to ring for them a little bit, and he's not able to do it. That's unfortunate. Either way, Arya does fall to a nice shot from Shroud, and then his AK-47 is salvaged on Professor Chaos, who had the second Mac-10, but still pressure over towards this A-bomb site. Irakanji, the coach, has got to hold things off. Pop flash into the air. Davey hasn't pushed forward. Now he's going to do it, though, and he's got the angle. Sprays to the corner, and Irakanji walks right into it. Nothing is up next with the Deagle, and he swings a little bit wide. The timing isn't with him because Davey peeks out and punishes that. So it's going to be around for Splyce. They're up 4-2 in terms of players. And Skadoodle and Shroud essentially just have to back off and look for some exit kills. Splyce off to the usual start. If they do move out looking for those exit kills, there is a chance they could end up dropping 1 or 2 more guys here, but it looks like for the most part they should be pretty safe. And also, the AK that was dropped by Arya has already been recovered by Professor Chaos, so they'll keep that in the picture for the next round, so not really losing anything overall expensive at all. Splyce are going to get a good start to build up their economy, which will be the important thing here once we get into those gun rounds and once C9 is hopefully able to put up a better fight. And that would be the question, because now that, I mean, Skadoodle, I believe that Deagle was dropped over to him. He's still got 3,100, so he's saving for an AWP in the first round. So someone had to have given him that for him to still have that much money. I believe it he
must
picked
have
it up off of nothing when he died.
Okay. Well, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
Either way, 3 AKs survive into this round for Splyce. Up 2-0. No investment here from Cloud9, but they still do have that Deagle on Skadoodle, like you said, and the Deagle on Shroud, who also has a smoke. So a couple weapons that can do a little bit of damage if they get some nice shots, but it's going to be these Mac-10s and this Tech-9 and Professor Chaos. These guys, you imagine, are going to be pretty aggressive, trying to figure out where any kind of a stack is from the Cloud9 side.
Davey pushing forward again, looking for Stewie to start things up, and he's going to grab that opening kill. Not over-aggressive, but unfortunately some of the members on C9 are still moving out to try and find intel, so Jason R is going to claim a second target now for the guys on Splyce. In this round, for the most part, going exactly as Splyce had planned it to, moving themselves forward to take control. Irakanji trying to be sneaky up on top there, but Davey's going to find him, shut him down, took a moment, but still able to eliminate him. And it's the same thing as round number 2. There's virtually no damage so far going on to the members of C9.
Yeah, even if there is, it's Davey leading the way. He does get tagged by Shroud, but no big deal if he falls here. He's built up enough bonus money. He'd lose armor and utility, but no issues. Meanwhile, the B bomb site's about to have a lot of pressure on it. Professor Cass, Jason R, and Arya all coming in. Skadoodle doesn't land anything. It's Shroud up next. He's got armor, but can he find a kill? He can't. Arya drops him. So 2 kills for Davey, 2 for Jason R, and no one on Splyce falls. AWP comes out. That's going to be passed over to Arya. Davey looks like he's keeping that Mac-10.
It's going to do with 5.5k. He's going to have enough money to invest into the op for this round if he should choose to do so. And in fact, he will. Not going to have any utility, of course, as we generally expect, but has the gun, and that's what's important here. But for Splyce, now's their first big test here after winning that pistol round.
I mean, there's not a lot of utility on the Cloud9 side at all. Nothing actually goes for head armor, so he can't get a smoke. That might be a little bit of a mistake. We'll have to see. Stack over in halls. They've got to get up here quick because Jason R is already pressuring. This is exactly where he had some big plays against CLG. Professor Cat's going to lead the way. That's the bomb dropped. Nothing, can't get anything else. Irakanji is still here. And Stewie is now transferred over to reset up a crossfire. It was broken up, and they still have to get the bomb. Bomb's on the ground, and it's actually pretty far advanced, so this is a little bit scary for Splyce.
Irakanji a little bit fidgety. I think he actually moved, so they gave away his position from the footsteps. He's going to be able to pick up that first kill, but Stewie does respond, takes down Jason R. Back into a 3-on-3 once again. Still, no bomb being retrieved as of yet, though, and Stewie going to pop a smoke off back over here to the entrance towards A long, so he can keep himself alive. 2 of them coming in from either direction, though, and first one up is going to be Abe. He picks up the kill on Stewie, though, so not too much conflict, and they also take the man advantage here. Now, though, they'll need to pick a site which they can move towards. It looks like they're shifting it over towards B, which is going to be the smarter option. C9 had fully committed to this A site, and now, as soon as Arya moves into B, he's going to realize it's wide open for the taking. Yeah, well, Arya's just been holding this with pushes, for pushes with the AWP, so he's just chilling at the moment. Now, Abe goes to meet up with him. Meanwhile, Davey just chills in middle for his lurk, his flank, so wants to get that style going. The question is, when does he make his move? Skadoodle and Shroud have both rotated over towards the B bomb site, so if this isn't timed well by Splyce, he can get punished very quickly. Davey throws a smoke up towards the double doors, but no one from Cloud9 moves. They know it's a ruse now. So there's a timer on when Davey can come in and make this flank very, very effective, and Splyce is trying to buy as much, and it's looking like it's going to work. Although there's the bomb down. Shroud now expecting the flank because he heard the smoke. He's looking for it. Is the timing going to be with him? Skadoodle finds it, all down to a 2-on-1. This is so well done from C9. Bomb being planted, and Skadoodle, there's no way he lets this happen. Goes down, not even any bonus money going into the hands of Splyce, and ultimately it comes down to the slow execution of the B bomb site. Did not want to take a chance on losing a player when they were in that 3v2, so Arya stuck around, but that gave C9 the delay. They wanted to essentially give them a signal to rotate back over towards that B bomb site, and by the time they were there, it was still before Splyce even attempted to start their take, so they're able to hold that nicely and recover the round.
Yeah, still a lot of money on the Splyce side, though, and actually look at this buy out of Cloud9. There's a lot invested in this. They go straight for a double op. Stewie very light on smoke as well, or on utility overall. So is Irakanji, so still haven't been able to build anything up. Irakanji even goes for the MP7 just to be able to have a little bit more money, but it doesn't do too much for him. But much slower rounds coming out of Splyce at the moment.
And Ari again posted back that passive waiting style that he used that last round too, which actually ended up hurting them a lot more. But this time, of course, making sense since there hasn't really been any other action happening in the round as yet, and there's no reason for him to press it, with him only really having the support of Davey a little bit further back. But the other members of Splyce now making their way inside of the mid connector, trying to take control of suicide steps and then shift over towards long A. But there's a big presence here from C9 trying to defend this. Yeah, and I was actually a little bit mistaken. That's Stewie's AWP is actually salvaged off Professor Chaos. They didn't have to invest for that second op at all. Skadoodle still has, okay money, so does nothing. But Skadoodle is going to find this first contact. Professor Chaos looks like he's going to slide right into it, and he does. Off angle from Skadoodle punishes him. Again, he's the first player for Splyce down, and Irakanji with the MP7. He's going to get aggressive behind this, and they're ready for it. Jason R is just waiting for that. But there's Skadoodle chiming in again. Good to see him being effective. 2 kills early on in this round, and now Davey's going to start pressuring drop. Davey moves in. Unfortunately, he'll be alone for the time being, but he is going to be trying to drive that wedge in between the rotators from the B bomb site. Not getting into the face of anybody as of yet, but going to be able to grab nothing with essentially no trouble whatsoever. Shroud finds the trade, so it reopens the pathways, but Ari also finds the entry into this A bomb site by taking down Skadoodle. So eliminating him now puts the pressure on the Shroud. Molly goes over there, so there's no retreating for him now as he pushes back over, gets himself up onto the platform. They're ready for it, but a pop flash supports. Shroud picks up Aria, but Jason R responds again by taking down Shroud down to a 1v1. Stewie's looking for that shot, but has the nade out. Thankfully, he's dropping down when he peeks. So he's going to be able to force Jason R to cover with that Molly and win the 1v1. Nicely played by Stewie. And he's going to put a second round onto the board for C9.
Yeah, really, really nice one-on-one from Stewie. But you can see how effective that lurk is from Davey coming down drop like that. Just getting one kill and opening everything up. Just turning the attention of Cloud9 over into that direction. Then they hit the A bomb site. It's much, much weaker. Op is salvaged, but still the economy for C9 is not that great. It's going to be another buy from Splyce, you would expect. Yes, so Professor Chaos completely buys out on the Tech 9. Op out as well, back into Arya's hands and AKs. So C9 has one more round. They kind of have to survive this pressure so they can start building up their money. If they can win this and force Splyce back onto pistols, that'll at least give them a chance to have some kind of a bank moving forward into the future. But it's still a very precarious situation for them.
Yeah, Splyce have brought this down to 1 and 2 players in the last 2 rounds, so they know that C9's economy cannot be in a very solid position at all. So they will try to punish this for the last time. Skadoodle getting baited on that first shot, so a lot of ground going to be gained from Splyce because of that, but no punishment on the Skadoodle. He's able to fall back without taking any damage. And now ready for a peek once again to come out actually towards long A here.
And he just decides to back off. He's like, all right, I'll give it up. Let you guys have control. The question is, what does Splyce do from it? They can use that to have an execute towards the A bomb site. They do have 3 players here. And Professor Chaos is down in mid, just kind of lurking. Meanwhile, Shroud has cheated over. They're playing a very passive setup towards drop. Kanji's got to be very careful not to get pop flashed. And Splyce, they gain control of halls and they're just going to fall out of it. So they want that map control. They want to have Cloud9 be a little bit honest towards that direction. You can see even through the X-ray, Abe has sneaked up behind that smoke. So now he's turned into a lurking position. And the attention from Splyce is going to go to the other side of the map.
Looking for that kill, though. Kanji is going to be moving a little bit closer to long A, so we may find a confrontation between him and Abe in just a few moments here, but doesn't want to actually move out just as of yet. In the meantime, the remaining members of Splyce are getting ready to go for an entry onto the B bomb site. A lot of pressure from drop, as you can see on the mini-map, but they only have 30 seconds, now less than that, to pull this off, and they haven't even started this yet, so this needs to happen very quickly and very cleanly, too, because if even one thing goes wrong here, more than likely C9 are going to be able to hold it off and prevent a plan entirely. Smoke goes in, covers the exposed angle over here towards Broken Wall, and now that's it. 15 seconds. They can't even get themselves out into this site. They're going to get executed here. Shroud did nothing from the first 2 kills. Abe did catch 1, but that's on the A-bomb site. Davey striking back with 2, but then nothing. Finding 2 right after that one. It's just Abe left alive. Player that was trying to lurk over here towards the A-bomb site. He's got a 1v2, but just 1 second left on the clock, and now Skadoodle's going to move out, and he kills him after the timer as well, so Abe's going to have even less money. Yeah,
no plant this round, no bonus money, and you can see Abe at $900 because he lives after the timer. So really well done from Cloud9. Very much slow pace from Splyce. You're exactly right, running that clock down just too much. So sustaining some of those early losses. Cloud9's able to counter smoke when the execute comes in, and then this is that round we were talking about where chance here for Cloud9 to be able to build up some money, because they are starting to be able to get some utility behind these weapons, but Kanji's still on a FAMAS. All pistols for Splyce, so a chance here not to take too many losses, not have too many rebuys. And another double op setup comes out for the C9 side.
Everybody on Splyce just moving towards that mid-connector, so they'll look to pressure the A site, at least early on in the round once more. This does not mean they'll be committing themselves to it at all. Flashbang rolls in. Kanji, the first man to stop it. He gets 2, looks for a 3rd, and he gets it. Abe finally responding with a kill coming in from his Glock. It takes down Kanji, but the damage has already been done. They can't really fall back and shift this play because it's going to be obvious as hell. There's no thing stopping C9's players from getting aggressive down, trying to knock him out. Shroud picks up another one. Abe trades that one out as he recovers the FAMAS, but now Abe's in a 1v3.
That's actually really nice by Splyce to not just throw away those last 2 lives. Make sure you trade 1 kill, force another rebuy. Try and keep the money down as much as possible, but Kanji with a triple spray, that's cool stuff. And then Stewie and Skadoodle with the ops are able to clean things up from there.
Back up to a double op setup this time for C9. They're going to be reinvesting into that too, pretty heavily. So still keeping the money quite low, and this is a dangerous point to be doing it when Splyce are on another gun round.
It's time for Splyce. No one over towards the bomb site. It looks like they just kind of want to drop all the finesse and go straight towards B. Kanji close up. There's smoke and nade. He hears all these footsteps. He's a little bit blind, so he's got to be careful, but Abe's just going to use this gap in the smoke. This is designed to have this kind of a play, so you can see right under the edge towards where Stewie is with the op. Although Stewie's on the other side, Kanji able to get that first kill. The second one is bailed out by Stewie. He's out of bullets. So he's going to swing to the right and a knife. Can we get it? We can! Kanji Arya has no clue where he is. That's good stuff. And I mean, Irukandji even had time to consider reloading or knifing. He just no concept of where he was.
It's more of the, let's see if he notices me just behind
right.
me. So Irukandji been playing with that a little bit. Big mistake by Splyce on not catching onto that position of a player just below Broken Wall. He's going to grab that knife. And Splyce, with a big mistake there, get decked on their attempt to push for Broken Wall control.
Yeah, that'll help your money as well. Nice $1,500 bonus. So Tech9's CZs and armor for the Splyce side. This is purely for their economy, just to try and, or not for their economy, for the opposing team's economy, just trying to keep it limited because Cloud9 have won 5 straight. So even with this investment on the Splyce side, next round they're going to be able to buy whatever they want. But they need to start measuring the money that's building up. That Molotov stops Davey. He's down to 8 HP, and he's going to go right through it anyways. Crazy Canadians, doesn't even care, gets the kill. He's traded off immediately. And now it's all towards the A-bomb site.
It actually has drawn a lot of rotations, at least inside of the site connector too. So Skadoodle, I think he messed up there by trading his gun out. So Irukandji under pressure, doesn't even get any kills, but he does a lot of damage. Brings Jason R and Professor Chaos just below 10 HP into a 3-on-4 situation. They do get the bomb on the floor, so they'll get the extra money on this round. But there's Abe finding another kill now too, shutting it down. They might actually be able to steal this one away. Some big mistakes made by C9 here, and they've got the other 2 players boxed out of the site with, right now at least, looking for not a lot of ways back into it. But there's Shroud finding a pickup on Abe. He's going to look for another one, but decked by Arya, taken down, and it all falls into the hands of Stewie.
Yeah, unfortunately, the HP really doesn't matter against the ops. So even though Irukandji does so much damage to Jason R and Splyce, or and Professor Chaos, with 2 ops still up, there's really not too much that means with no HE grenades. So nice round from Splyce. You're right, Cloud9 did overcommit to that rotate, and it really made that susceptible, especially Irukandji alone in the site. Had to have at least gotten 1 there, but 5-4. Splyce win a 4-spy round. And now what's the buy for C9 side? Because the money's depleted. Skadoodle goes back to the op. Irukandji back on the FAMAS. M4's next to that. And it's a little bit more measured out of Splyce this time. Although Davey aggressive down lurk. How has Cloud9 taken their eyes off this so soon? How is he able to do this with an AWP and find a kill? Switching up the pace, Davey being effective.
And now panicking a little bit here, looking to see if they can find out where some of these other players are. Arya is going to get a free kill into nothing as he walks right into the crosshairs. So again, early mistakes being made by C9, nobody covering drop control. And then following that, panicking, moving out from the safe position, giving away the position close to Broken Wall, which was something that gave them such a big benefit the previous one. Davey finally going to be smited, though, by Irukandji. Rounding the corner is A, but he also can't take down Irukandji. He grabs 2 this round, looking for another one. Not going to be able to get it this time. Professor Chaos takes him down, but Skadoodle's here to respond. He shuts out Arya, and at least Professor Chaos is the last man alive.
Switching over to the AK-47. They know exactly where he is, although Skadoodle is turned the wrong way. He didn't spot his gun. Apparently his communication is not that great. What is he going to get bailed out? There it is. There's Skadoodle trying to get at the USP, but Shroud just like a ring around the roses. This has got to be so frustrating. He's out. Oh, nice shot. Now this is possible. 7 HP, Shroud. He lands it, but that's way too scary.
Shroud literally just playing with Professor Chaos there, but it works out in his virtue too, because he never actually takes any damage from that play. And although we see a very nice attempt from the last man alive on Splyce to clutch that out, he just cannot find Shroud, cannot outmaneuver him there. And because of that, he'll end up losing that round and giving back a nice solid lead to C9.
A solid buy out of Cloud9, but still, and again, they haven't been able to really stabilize this economy in any meaningful way. They're on a knife's edge here. We're losing this round and they're reset. They are going against 2 Tech9s, but you saw what they can do in that 4-spy that Splyce had to get him their 4th. So again, a lot of presence over towards A-holes for Splyce. They want to take this over. It's just Irukandji here as well, so they have an opportunity. And he's going to have the timing right. I think he hears these footsteps because he's pushed forward into the main connector and got a new angle. It's going to be smoked off, and all he has to do is watch his back now.
Irukandji placed in that corner position once again. Professor Chaos swings around the corner, takes him down. Some good entry power coming in here from Splyce. The biggest issue so far for them that we're seeing, it has to be just closing out these rounds. But Stewie so aggressively pushed up. If he moves in, he might be able to shut down this fake entirely.
This is sick. Davey looks like he's considering it, or at least just being wary in case of the pressure. The tough part is Stewie's going to have a very quick flank if they go towards the A site, but he only has a shotgun, so how effective can that be? It just means Skadoodle's got to get a couple kills to slow them down. He's got to be able to thin out the herd. He's also got Shroud inside the bomb site to bail him out. Splyce still not making their move quite yet, but it's going to be all Skadoodle and Shroud because Stewie and Nothing have a long rotate to make when this hit does eventually come in.
Oh, Skadoodle They try to bait him out with a shot, but it doesn't work at all, and then he shuts down Ari on the peak, finds a second one, and then Shroud comes in to assist, so there we go. Splyce have been completely stunned in this round, probably not going to be able to turn it around this time. They do finally make some progress. Professor Chaos moving onto the APC. There is a missed shot from Skadoodle, and it's going to be punished by PC, but directly after that, Shroud up on the site, takes down Professor Chaos, and nothing further out there, manages to take down Davey.
Back to the double up. Stewie salvages it. He's off the shotgun, but said it was going to have to be all Skadoodle and Shroud, and they get 2 kills each to close that out. So really, really well done, especially that flick on Skadoodle, patiently not firing at the jump. So it's back onto the upgraded pistols for Splyce. They've only got 4 rounds, despite some of the good entries we've seen out of them. They haven't really been able to get too much going in these gun rounds. In fact, I don't think they've won a gun round when you think about it, because the round they won after the first 3 benefit of winning the pistol was just Tech9s that they force bought.
Like I said a couple rounds ago, like with the exception of a few rounds, for the most part, they seem to be able to entry okay. Like finding the first kill or 2 to gain an advantage isn't the problem. It's when they actually go for the site as a full team is when they start faltering. Something's not communicated properly, or they're just not able to take down the players on C9 that are hunkered down in safe positions because they just shut it down as soon as the actual take attempt comes in. It looks like Splyce are going to line up for a take through the mid choke point once again, smoking off the suicide steps this time. And Skadoodle under pressure almost immediately. Thankfully, it's mostly pistols, so he is able to handle it, and he picks up the first kill on Jason R. Flashbang's coming all over the place, so it's going to hold those guys back for a few extra moments. And now Skadoodle and Nothing are just going off here. They shut it down all on their own, not even needing any help from their opponents. Skadoodle gets a 3K on that round. Nothing chiming in with 2 of his own.
Yeah, Skadoodle's feeling it. Wants to make those playoffs, so 8-4 at the moment. And this time, there's going to be no op going up against Skadoodle this round. Arya is stuck on an AK-47. They've got 4 of them and a Tech9 on Professor Chaos, and he has been that very mobile kind of entry fragger for this team. He has switched to the coaching role when Shazam has played, his decision. But in this, at least, he's playing the entry fragger. He's just saying, all right, guys, bait me. I'll have the Tech9, I'll go in first, but it doesn't really matter when Skadoodle's going to get multi-kills. And there, Stewie gets caught jumping. He wanted to go for more, and Davey punishes it.
And Davey now looking for a way through. After he got that good damage on the Stewie, again, this is that thing, Splyce. They get a good start. Now it's about capitalizing on it, getting themselves into the site. 2 committed to this A-bomb site. They've got Shroud positioned over here just outside the doors, waiting for this wedge to be driven. And Davey's going to try to push forward past the molly, but it's not going to work out. Shroud wins that first 1 versus 1. And now the other 4 a bit timid, actually, to move in and take control of this A-bomb site. Irakanji even going to move forward back over here to the mid-connector. He knows they're pushing. Nobody checking around the corner. Thankfully for the guys over Splyce, he only manages to grab 1 as Professor Chaos grabs the trade. Now up on the site, Shroud and Skadoodle finding 2 more. And it's just Professor Chaos who has managed to find his way in, but Skadoodle's going to shut him down too. Yeah,
we keep mentioning the entry power of Splyce. Well, now that it's cooled off a little bit, we're seeing these attacks just get slaughtered because they're not even able to find those opening kills. And then Skadoodle and Shroud at the same bomb site have come alive, holding off the defense. Skadoodle is 14-7, Shroud is 13-6, so they've seen plenty of action. And we do have what we're told is a technical, not tactical pause.
So probably just trying to fix some lag issues or something like that, or someone's mouse isn't working properly. And then we'll get back into the game.
Yeah.
Or it could be a technical pause.
Yeah, so this has really been a dominant performance from Cloud9, I think, on this CT side. They haven't dropped a gun round yet. No, I mean, when they've dropped that 1 force buy, and that's about it. So this has been 6. Skadoodle is opping. We mentioned in the pregame show that there was a time when it seemed like Skadoodle wasn't playing too much CS. He was, not outside of practice, outside of matches. He wasn't really that active, but. Now I've been hearing things I know from other players, from other people in the scene that Skadoodle's actually logging a lot of hours at the moment. I think he has like something like 90 something in the past two to 3 weeks or something like that. Crazy. So I mean, he wants to get back into it, and obviously with a chance to make Pro League finals, why not? Good time to come alive for him. That A defense is nuts. But Splyce, the entry power is good, but when they do eventually decide to execute on these bomb sites, they're just getting something's going wrong in these executes, because there have been a couple times I've noticed, especially over towards A, that the executions aren't actually forcing a player like Skadoodle out of his position. He's playing a very standard spot with the AWP behind that APC, but there's nothing that's making him feel uncomfortable. It seems like that execute is designed to get him into the bomb site, but they're running into too much pressure. They're not flushing anyone out of spots to give him the opening.
Not using smokes, not really a lot of utility usage at all coming in from Splyce at all on that A-bomb site. And when it comes to the B takes, like, they've been given control of drop drop essentially for free 3 or 4 rounds in a row now. C9 is not putting a lot of emphasis on defending that point. So Davey, who has been one of those players that's been making the entry power work so good, drops in there, and in quite a few rounds earlier on, he was getting a kill, so he would gain an advantage. But then where's the rest of the team? It's so slow to actually execute onto that site after that. They're so timid to actually move in, and that gives C9 time to rearrange their players in that bomb site, get them in harder positions to get ready for an actual take, and Davey will end up going down because he's alone, unfortunately, and then the rest of the team falls in and they just get destroyed.
Yeah, the more passive that drop is played, sometimes it can be a little bit harder to find those kills. And Davey had success with it, but it seems they've switched things up. And also that more passive stance. We saw it in that last round when he got, I think it was Shroud who killed him as he came out the window and dropped. That just allows Shroud to be a much quicker swing player to back and forth between the A and B bomb site. But hasn't been a lot of pressure on the B site. There's only been really that one big execution from Splyce over there. Mostly they've been focusing on A, and it's just getting wrecked.
And that execution they actually tried to go for on B is the one that just got absolutely destroyed because they waited down the clock to like 20 seconds, and then as soon as they saw T-smokes coming onto the site, C9 just smoked off all the hot points. And
Irakanji savages them with a knife.
Pretty much.
Yes, that was great. I hope we get that in a replay because that was cool stuff. But 9-4 on a night where Cloud9, we mentioned it a couple times, and I'll just bring it up again. They're tied 12-6 with 2 other teams, so going 2-0 is crucially important, especially when you think that the other 2 teams they're tied with are playing each other in the next match. So you got to think even if Cloud9 goes 2-0 and those teams trade it off, they obviously are still going to be fighting for the 4th seed, but Cloud9's going to be in a much better position.
And C9 as well. If they take a 2-0 in this match, then they're basically 90% guaranteed to take the 16-6 record for the entire season, since their final match on Tuesday is going to be versus K-Kona. So. Yeah. Not a very high chance for an upset there.
Might not have 5 players.
Yeah.
Jeez, good for them. It's a nice route to the finals. But other than that, yeah, this is still have an extended pause. It is technical. We did see a player drop out, so it's not tactical.
Yeah, I think Stewie's disconnected.
Yep.
So.
And he also had some issues joining, so makes sense. But let's talk about we can get into the next matchup a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Selfless and well, let's talk about this. Selfless is up there fighting for a spot. So is Energy. These teams not necessarily came from nowhere, but coming into the season, I don't think anyone expected them to be in this kind of a situation. Selfless, especially after losing Kusta, who was a big part of their firepower, seemed to have rebounded very nicely. But Energy bringing over Gabi and Lagia, there were questions how effective that was going to be. And it seems to, obviously they played well at Counterpit. They beat Envy there. That was their big upset. But in this season, they've kept up this good pace.
Yeah, and their last match, too, is going to be a pretty tough one when we look at it. Again, that'll also be on Tuesday, and that's going to be them taking on, I believe, Optic. So, with Optic still fighting to remain in the top 4.
That'll be a cool match.
That's going to be another cool match.
That might be one we have to put on stream. That'll be
Essentially, like, if Energy wins that one, they still actually might not end up in the top 4. A lot of this depends on how the other matches on Tuesday end up playing out. But if they end up winning that one, then they'll be up at 15 wins. And then Optic will be stuck down at 14 wins. So they'll take an advantage over them. But then the question is how many of those other teams that are currently tied 12-6 manage to get up to either 16 or possibly 14 or even 15 if they go 1-1. It's going to be very tight.
A lot of numbers in there. And let's just get back to this 9-4 matchup, speaking of numbers. Pistols for Splyce. 2 rounds left in this half. So they're saving, or at least have a very low investment for this round so that the next time they can have as much as they can to get up, try and get up towards 5. Yeah, if Splyce didn't win pistol round, this half would just be a disaster for him. Not able to get anything going on this T side whatsoever. Complete shutout from C9, but still, it's the benefit of that pistol round where this can still be a pretty decent half for Splyce if they're able to get one of these 2 last rounds, still have an opportunity.
Very aggressive buying, too, on the T side. Not a whole lot of overall saves. They basically just run their money out every single time they get a chance to, because they bring C9 so close to being broken on their economy, but they just cannot close out a single round here. So Cloud9 continue to buy up by the virtue of winning so many rounds in a row. But Splyce, on these ecos, will look to still play as a 4-man unit, pushing in to what looked like the A-bomb site, but they're even leaning away from that now, falling back a little bit, possibly heading through the halls to execute on B instead, but they're still making their decision on that as they've got plenty of time left on the clock, 50 seconds, just right now moving some players around towards the long A, so they can execute in there, possibly not get overwhelmed.
Well, that or they're just going to give Skadoodle and Shroud a chance to stat pad, because they're going back towards this A-bomb site. Now, Skadoodle is in a position where he can get smoked off. Last time this happened was on a similar force buy. Irakanji got isolated on the site and overran, and that's what led to Splyce's 4th round. But still, only 1 smoke, 1 flashbang for them to utilize. may not go well. And here's the execute. Skadoodle's caught out in the open. There's a good pick, and there goes Irakanji. So, I mean, deja vu right now, and Davey down drop. This round is essentially over, unless Shroud does something that we only generally see in his streams, and maybe his dreams.
Davey takes down nothing, and then directly after that, no stream dreams today. Abe shuts out Shroud. No kills at all in the Splyce.
This is insanity.
That they win 2 rounds after their first 3, and both of them are on 4 spies, yet they haven't won a single actual gun round yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's also the mistake from Skadoodle. We didn't see exactly what he did to get in that position, but he's far too out in the open that if he misses one shot, he's just overran. And then Irakanji falls soon after that. So again, you could see this, though, because Cloud9 really hasn't had great economy situation. This has been a much closer half than it's actually seemed, just because the money for Cloud9 has always been at a breaking point. You know, they've never really been able to build up too much of a bank to survive 2 or 3 losses, as we generally see when there's a bunch of gun rounds won. And there's a nice pick from Stewie. Abe walks right into it, eats the nade, and then falls. Skadoodle's the next one under pressure, and he hits that shot, able to get away. The ops chiming in so well for C9. They have a huge advantage.
Irakanji going to be able to find another one in the J-Star. He's caught with a knife or a grenade out, something in his hands there that isn't a gun. So it's going to be easy pickings for him. Just 2 left alive down. They're both separated as well. Arya and Davey on other sides of the map. And with essentially 0 damage done to anybody on C9, there's no chance they're going to be able to steal this round away. Cloud9 will immediately retake control and reset the T-side economy.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, it is going to be a 10-5 half. So it's going to be tough for Splyce in the second half. Oh, this is normally known as a little bit more T-sided, but Cloud9 have given themselves a good advantage here. Really not too much left for Arya to do. Good half, all things said and done. The big thing is going to be, for me, Skadoodle with the opping on the CT side has been magnificent. If he gets over to the T side and he carries that over, that's going to be brutal for Splyce to have to deal with. So many places for him to get picks over towards A, over towards that B bomb site. If he can just mount, you know, sit in the far back and just pick off opponents of Splyce as they try and aggress upon Cloud9 during these executes, it could just be all over.
And for Splyce, the big thing to pick up here now, too, and the big thing to watch out for is C9's entry power that could be coming in here. Skadoodle seeming on point today, as is Shroud, doing a very good job, I should say, of holding both the A and B bomb sites. Shroud is more of a rotator when he needs to be getting on either one of those bomb sites, but when it comes to that A bomb site, which they lean towards so much more often, Skadoodle was like unstoppable. So if he's going to be this potent now on getting these entry frags, too, or just trying to get the more aggressive kills with the op, then might end up being a very early GG for Splyce here.
Yeah, this is that's the funny thing, because there were some rounds that we actually saw Shroud more committed into the A bomb site, and with the way him and Skadoodle have been playing, they just shut everything down. It was when Shroud was more farther away in that rotate position. Irakanji was alone in the site is when they got overrun on those two 4 spies. So Splyce gets 5 rounds without winning a gun round. Pretty impressive, but still a long way to go.
To counteract some of that aggression too, I'm interested to see what they try to do with Davey here, because Davey was always that man that plays on his own back over towards drop, and it kind of sucks that we didn't really see Splyce try to go for B hits more with Davey having so much success towards drop. That's a very hard area to get against a lot of teams here, and Cloud9 were just handing it over on the silver platter in so many rounds. They didn't try to use it at all, so we would hope now that on the CT side they still try to do something aggressive with him to shut down C9, or at least a couple of their players early on in the round.
Yeah, it was a little weird that we didn't see Splyce ever go towards that B bomb site, just that once, and maybe something, you know, maybe a call in the mid round. I think they came back in like a 2-on-2 or a 3-on-3 or something like that. But still, sick half from C9. Now we get live into the pistol. Utility on Skadoodle, smoking 2 flashes. Davey's got dualies. Professor Chaos has no armor, upgraded pistol. That's about it. All 10 members over towards the B bomb site. What is this from Splyce? They overrun everybody. So now Cloud9, obviously they make the right decision, but can they stop this? They've got the choke points. They don't realize that it's all 5 members for Splyce here, but now it's just a slaughter. Looks so good initially, but they set up the crossfires. There's Davey responding. He does fall, and Arya's got no HP. The tank strategy from Splyce works out initially, but Cloud9, the experience that they have, counteracts it perfectly.
And it falls down to not having any coverage over towards drop, as Cloud9 are able to too easily just swift the ray over towards there, take control of it, and they box out Splyce, preventing them from doing anything. So now it's on Arya, 10 HP. Not a whole lot of hope from him, as he's hiding behind the APC now. Hoping to get some of these players out in the open, and he can lock onto a headshot, but will not be the case, more than likely. Cloud9 are just going to post up and let him come to them, as he jumps himself up through the broken wall on the A-bomb site, up towards the platform now. There's a smoke that he's going to try to toss over the bomb, and oh no, he actually gets Shroud. He has a kid in hand too, but Aria, where's that bomb at? You gotta find it. He's jumping on it. He's starting the defuse and nothing. Looking for the frag. Thankfully for Aria, though, or thankfully for nothing, he's only got 10 HP, so one shot is all it's needed. It's gonna be a headshot, too. So Cloud9, they'll keep their lead going into the second half as they win the pistol.
I don't know the last time I've seen a tactic like that. All 10 members meet up in those halls. And this is the one thing, where this kind of breaks apart for Splyce, because they get the 2 opening kills. It looks good initially. Is they could do that same exact thing with just 4 players and have one person at the A site, because you could see Cloud9, they didn't realize all 5 were there, so they set up in the connector because they didn't know if it was all clear to go towards the A site. And 2, they knew that Splyce was going to have to be very aggressive, rotating back just to have that information. So they set up some really, really nice crossfires, and that's a pistol round for C9. 11-5 now.
Splyce forcing up since they're so far behind here. Can't really afford to let Cloud9 take even more of a lead, going up 3-0 at the start of this half. So Aria going to try to get some good damage, and he succeeds actually getting some good damage into nothing within the first few moments. Brings him down to a 10 HP, and he himself has only dropped down to 64. But now comes the time for Kanji to cause a distraction over here towards this B-bomb site, where Splyce have gone for the gamble. They've committed all 5 players here. They've got a couple in drop on a quick rotate position, but if they don't start to move over to that A site soon, Cloud9 is going to walk right in and take full control.
Kanji with the Mac-10 is going to be testing the waters. He's not going to be expecting that delayed jump up, so he does fall. Cloud9 now, that's kind of their hint, because they have no presence over towards the B site. They don't even really know how it's stacked. It is all 5 members from Splyce on that side of the map, so it's going to be a pretty easy take for Cloud9 over towards A. But because there was no map presence from C9 across on the other side, they had to pretty much just take A and just gamble it. Stewie's got good position, and Splyce might just want to concede this round and save these armor and pistols for the next one, but they're going to go for it, and they're just going to jump to their death. Nothing. Even with low HP, those are easy kills. It's all down to Davey, and he falls as well. So 12-5. Cloud9 in firm control here.
Splyce not taking any chances at all. Trying to go for the retake, but it's so one-dimensional that Cloud9 have no trouble just spraying all their guns over there towards the balcony. And it's an easy dispatch for everybody on Splyce. No upgraded pistols really going to be coming into this round at all, or at least none that don't really have any significant impact. It looks like they're all just sticking with their defaults. Abe does end up going for a PT-50 after the round actually starts, but beyond this, the only other buy you're going to see this time from Splyce is a smoke bot for Professor Chaos to try and hold back a mid-push to the connector.
Very, very much of a lean on this defense, a gamble towards B again. Professor Chaos is the only one over at A, but Cloud9 just waiting for any kind of pressure. Maybe that pistol round has him a little bit tweaked out. If they're willing to rush all 5 on a pistol round like that, maybe it just might happen again. Stewie's going to be the one to probe this time with a flashbang in his hand. Just waiting a little bit. Smoke gets deployed. That'll give him some cover if he wants to cross over towards the box, but seeing what kind of a response they get out of Splyce, thinking maybe if someone's boosted up behind that box, they'll be forced to peek when that small amount of utility gets used. Still, though, Cloud9 hasn't decided where to go.
They're taking their time with it, though. Thankfully, there's still plenty of it. Just a minute left on the clock. Davey, though, does spot some of the pressure that's about to work its way down to the B-bomb site. And they don't realize that Davey's actually up behind the box. So Stewie will find 1 kill, but Davey gets some shots in the back in order to catch a trade. And they're going to get a free upgrade as well from that.
Yeah, same situation, though, because I think actually Stewie must have spotted at least 2 or 3 more when he drops down. So now you can see the pressure that Cloud9 is putting to get up towards this A bomb site. Molotovs come out. Professor Chaos has already made it. He does fall, though. He's the only one out in the open. Abe tries to come through the smoke of the double doors, and now it's Aria's turn. And they all fall, one by one, just onto Davey, who is the next death, the next victim of Cloud9 with a commanding lead, 13-5. And we're not going to see an AWP come out for the Splyce side.
First gun round of this half.
Or we are. Davey goes glass cannon with no utility.
Taking the risk.
Big risk, big gamble, but why not when you're down 5-13?
Yeah. This could possibly be, this could end up being one of the last real gun rounds that we will end up seeing from Splyce to C9. If they take control of this one, they're more than likely going to be ending up on a save after this. And then we'll head directly into possible 15 rounds for C9. It would be 10 in a row needed for Splyce just to tie it, taken into OT. But it's the same type of setup from C9 for the most part. Shroud this time, however, will lead the charge back over here towards the platform area. It was smoked off by the CTs. Some bullets being traded back and forth. Davey not getting lucky to connect a shot onto Shroud, just as of yet. But in the meantime, Professor Chaos, and Aria have all taken damage. But in trade for that, Professor Chaos shuts down both Kanji and Nothing who try to push drop.
It's a nice pop flash, although Jason R trades it off. Still a 2-on-3 situation. So he's going to do his best He looks like he wanted to gain control, but the bomb is so far back that he's got to go collect it. This is at least pulled a rotation from Arya and Professor Chaos because they don't have the intel yet. Shroud's going to be able to lurk down drop if he chooses to. Hasn't committed to it quite yet. But now the decision comes in 2-on-3. Which site do they go to? They only have one flashbang to utilize due to that fake that Stewie just threw over towards A. So it looks like both of them are going to choose to come down drop. See if they can get a pick. Arya should have heard these footsteps, although it doesn't appear so. But that's going to be a critical battle if they do decide to peek this window, and Arya spots his head. Doesn't want to commit to that fight. He's only got 29 HP, so now Davey with the AWP can kind of zone on that location. They've got him boxed in. They know where at least one member is. Stewie's dinked up. And Arya's going to be able to finish off that kill. Now Shroud reveals himself. Is he going to be prepared for it? Almost able to get that kill. So Splyce get their 6, and they bring 2 players alive into the next round. Should be another buy for Cloud9, though.
They're so close to shutting down Splyce here still. So no reason to really just try and constrict them while they still have the opportunity. Same policy as Splyce, in all honesty, in that first half, too. When they had Cloud9 so close to being broken once more. They're going to be buying up again, and they can honestly afford to do so. Full utility buys for most of these players that also pick up AKs, and only one downgrade on Irakanji as he goes for the Galil, with a smoke and an HE grenade coming in for him. So they're right back on the buying train here, looking for some early kills, which they can use to take advantage on one of these sites. But overall, the same type of setup that we've seen in numerous rounds already.
All 5 members of Cloud9 over towards A initially. Abe and JSONR have a pretty decent crossfire setup. JSONR in dangerous areas, but Abe is going to be smoked off, so JSONR is actually pretty isolated at the moment. Cloud9 just hasn't gained enough control of halls to be aggressive on that kind of position to clear it out. But it is coming as Skadoodle flashes over. Nothing is going to peak. And Abe's still playing behind the smoke. JSONR still aggressive, and there's the isolation. Abe can do nothing except rush through the smoke. That's just not coordinated enough if you're Splyce. Arya with the shotgun, he can't really do anything at this range.
So he's going to fall back and look for a better position, which he can use. And actually, no, I think they've already gone for a save call here. Arya does manage to take down Irakanji, so it's in a 3-on-4. But like we were saying before, one of these guys, oh my god, nothing, just destroys Arya through the smoke there as he was trying to blind fire through it. That's what you get. And now Dave and Professor Chaos are way away from this conflict zone, heading back over towards T-spawn to try and save their guns.
Yeah, this is that's just those losses over towards A happen so quickly that there's really nothing Splyce can do to rotate to get in position to stop that hit. And then especially Davey with the AWP, too expensive a gun and too important to them making this comeback to give it up there. And this is actually a thing of beauty. Having an op in this position, if you guys weren't around during some of like the really early days of Counter-Strike, this was like the spot to go to in pubs. And Davey's having fun with it.
Doesn't look like anybody else on C9 is going to test the water as far as that's concerned. They know he's posted up there, and it's going to be so hard to grab him flash or really anything that they can punish him with. So they're safe. They make it out of the round with the op and the M4, but ultimately Cloud9 win the round, and this is going to force Splyce to, well, force into this next round. Since this is so close to them dropping the map, they need to try and stay competitive in it. They cannot allow Cloud9 to get to 15 rounds.
Look at Nothing as well. He's caught up on the scoreboard. 18 and 10 for him, while it's Skadoodle and Shroud that were 8 to 9 kills above their teammates after the first half. Nothing has been making a bid on this T half, so maybe the burdens of leadership taken away from him now that Irakanji is actually playing, more than likely calling. He gets to be a little bit more free. Cloud9 just going to slowly walk towards this B platform. Spam come out to see if they can get lucky if anyone's boosting over, just covering their teammates' approach, and Nothing prepared to lurk down drop. He's got a shotgun, though, to deal with when he gets there. Oh, look at this play, though. Jason R has pushed all the way through A. There's actually 4 members from Splyce here. This is going to be a really tough execution for Cloud9. Even if they fall back, they're not going to expect him to be this close to them. And if they take more time, he's just going to get a free kill. No one is expecting this whatsoever.
The bear trap is slowly closing and the trades begin. Abe finds a first pickup, but Irakanji responds. He's able to take down one more. Professor Chaos fires too soon, though. And also this flank coming in from Jason R. Leaps over, misses the shot, and misses a second one. So Irakanji's going to take him down. The bear trap's been sprung wide open, and now Skadoodle taking down Davey. All that's left alive is Ari, and he too just has a shotgun to work with. Going to roll in, trying to find someone out in the open, but it's not meant to be. He's going to be boxed in right here. Not anything left that he can try and do at this point. They can simply overwhelm him. It looks like he's going to be going down, and Cloud9 will find a 15th round.
Yeah, that's a bummer because Splyce had the perfect situation for that execute. They had the read it was coming. They had a very quick flank, and 4 members set up to defend against it. It's just so much utility on Cloud9's side. The first player gets blinded. I believe that was Professor Chaos with the CZ. Jason R's flank doesn't work. Players get blinded and drop. So just the superior arsenal and utility that C9 has allows them to break up that stack perfectly. So now they're going against a shotgun and 4 pistols. And they have 9 map points.
A Nova as well.
The Nova.
Seeing at Professor Chaos's hands, he's in the window and drop, but already fragging out here. Skadoodle finding a first kill. Jason R, though, actually grabs that headshot on a Stewie. Looking for more. Just a little bit to his right, and he'd be able to find Urakanji, but he's going to get aggressive anyway. That smoke, just having deployed a few moments ago, he's going to try to stick close to it. Pop flash coming in for him as he runs through it. It's going to connect, and he finds a kill. Looking for an AK, leaping. Oh, if he had gotten that kill, that would have been impressive, but it's not meant to be. Davey comes in for the support. He picks up a kill. Falls to the same symptoms, though, as he picks up that AK, and Skadoodle catches him while he's trading out the gun. Down to a 2v2. Professor Chaos is going to panic rotate over to the A-bombs to make sure they didn't move away. But now this just leaves Abe here, and all he's got to defend it with is a 5-7.
Could have the jump on Skadoodle, and he does. Actually, Skadoodle fires, misses, but there's Shroud. Trades that kill off. Now he can get into the site, have his one-on-one. But he doesn't know where Professor Chaos is, so he had to be a little bit cautious upon entering, and now he just kind of gambles. There's no one in chicken coop. But at this range especially, Shroud, massive advantage here. It's all going to come down towards timing if Professor Chaos can catch him off guard when he's looking the other way. USP is out. Oh, wow.
Ooh, all right.
What a shot. Okay.
There's the 7th round for Splyce.
Just like that. Pretty cool round, though, with Splyce just throwing bodies through that smoke up towards that B passageway. And just trading those kills off back and forth, trying to gain the advantage, and Cloud9 just can't win out that 2-on-2. Still, a long way to go for Splyce. They do have the AWP, which is big, but I think Cloud9 should be able to buy just fine into this round. And yes, they should. So still, that's going to have to be 8 in a row for Splyce to force overtime, not even to win the map, just to force OT.
We'll see if they can keep this going now, as despite the victory, the buy is still rather stagnant with 2 shotguns in the mix. A little bit more utility this time to try and hold back C9, but they're still buying as strong as ever, and this includes the op coming onto Skadoodle. Some trades coming out there, and Ari gets brought down to 36 HP. So he's going to want to be a little bit careful, but Stewie 2's been hit pretty hard. He's been brought down to 16 HP now, so not a whole lot left for him. He's going to have to play pretty passively for the rest of the round now.
This is a real crappy spot for Jason R to be in. He's entirely cut off. He gets that kill. All right, the fight, and then Arya gets one as well. So now it's looking pretty good, but nothing's just going to bypass him. Say, all right, sit there with your shotgun. Fortunately, they're going to have to deal with him at some point because the bomb is still dropped right outside the double doors, that mid connector. So they're going to have to go back to get it. And all the C9 players are very split up. Stewie, with only 16 HP, is trying to hold off the rotation. He's got an advanced position towards A. Shroud's meeting up with him, but it's Urakanji who is going to find Jason R. So now the pathway should be open a little bit, and they're just saying, we've got the A site. You just need to get the bomb and get here.
They're going to boost Stewie up onto the balcony. Might not be the best idea since he's so low, but Abe's going to find him. It gives away the position of Abe at the very least, but now they're a man down again, and he has to know that someone's close to there since they did boost him back up. The bomb just now coming in from long A. Has to make sure that nobody, in the time that they were doing that boost back over there, took control of the doors. And is now waiting to take down Urakanji from that position. It's safe for now. 25 seconds left, and nothing's moving over to get some better coverage onto this one. He does need to be a bit careful as he scavenges that op. So both of C9's players are going to try to hold this off with 2 ops.
Yeah, well, Davy's on the flank. They've got to do something soon, and they get their 2 kills. That's a nightmare for Splyce with Davey being here. He's still got such a good positioning. He could win out this round. When do they check this? When do they try and expect it? It's right now. Urakanji, the coach, finishes things out. Big, big win for Cloud9 for their playoff hopes. And really